Welcome to the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. My name is Spenser, and I'm one of your hosts on this podcast. And it brings me great joy to let you know that today I'm joined by the other two members of the League of Melanated Gentlemen who have come here today for yet another review, a highly anticipated review, but a review nonetheless. As I have said, we are in a heavy review season.
Yes, sir. This is Brandon.
And of course, I'm Jordan.
Now, there are a couple of things that need to happen before we actually get into today's review. Firstly, you need to know where you can follow us, where you can talk to us, where you can interact with us, and, where we can just have a good time together. So, Jordan, could you let the people know about that?
Yeah, you can always find us on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube. We are all at the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast, or you can always type in LMG podcast for short. You can also even Google us if you wanted to. We are also on the Google. That is where you can find us on social media. Of course, if you drop in the Facebook group, we are always in there talking. We're always in there interacting. So if you love to get in contact with us, that is probably the best way to get in contact with us. So yeah. And then don't forget to rate and review us on whatever streaming service that you use. Also subscribe, like and subscribe our YouTube videos as well. Let's say, you like to use YouTube while you're at work for some reason and you want to listen to us. You can check us out on YouTube. So yeah, that is that. And then of course we have some scheduling updates. And Mondays the league drops their episodes weekly. We are a weekly podcast. So every Monday we drop a new episode. And then Brandon has his weekly podcast, Wrestling with Worldwide Willis, which drops every single Wednesday. Brandon, do you know about the events of the wrestling matches ahead of time, or is it like a surprise?
Sometimes ahead of time, but some stuff they keep surprise, keep hidden.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, if you are into the world of wrestling and you want to know what's going on in that world, be sure to check out that podcast. And then of course, coming up this week is DC Animation with Spenser and Friends. That is Spenser's review podcast where he talks about, the DC animated movies. Spenser, what movie can they check out this week?
This week we will be discussing Son of Batman.
As I said before, that's a good movie. We're getting an introduction to a new Robin. Not going to spoil who he is, but I guess no spoiler alert for like what a 10-year-old movie, probably 15-year-old movie.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, it's knocking on 10.
Yeah. So I mean, some people might not know who the new Robin is, so that'll be a surprise for them. So yes, that is everything. That is where you can find us at, and without further ado, let's get into it.
So it is my understanding that there has been some news circulating, some rumors going around about some Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family. Let's just see what the rumors have to say, because I have not heard much, but I do know there are a couple of things that have been swirling. So what have we got?
So some of this it sounds like it's official. Me and Brandon kind of talking about it. It sounds like it's official, but we're still waiting for the studios to come out and fully confirm this. But they seem to have landed their Reed Richards, and that is Pedro Pascal, who some of us know him from Game of Thrones, from The Last of Us. Some of us
It's
know him
everywhere.
from what Star is he in Star Wars?
Yeah, Mandalorian.
He's absolutely in
Man,
Star Wars.
yeah, I'm tripping. Mandalorian. So yeah, what do y'all think about this? What do y'all think about that?
I mean, at first I was like, I don't know. I think he's a good actor, and it's just I haven't seen him play a super smart role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where Reed Richards is like consistently reading off, like he's a smart guy in the room, right? So he's always talking about like formulas and and calculations and all that stuff. So it's like I haven't seen him play a role in that aspect. Like he's usually playing the like brooding,
Action.
yeah, action person, you know. So I think he's good enough. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know.
What do you think, Spencer?
Um, I think Pedro can do whatever he wants. I don't know if I've seen him do anything where his performance was anything other than at least pretty good.
Yeah.
So he's not who I would have picked for Reed, but I am not mad at the choice because again, like he's the guy. Like you can pick him, you can put him almost anywhere, and it's probably gonna go well.
It's I would say it's definitely interesting to see them go. But of course, Pedro, I think he's almost 50.
Yep.
So that means they're going with an older Reed Richards. So it doesn't sound like we may not get an origin story for Reed Richards. Or not Reed Richards, but for the Fantastic Four. Like I'm wondering if they're gonna already have their powers, already be established as the Fantastic Four, maybe been doing it for a few years, and maybe go from there. So instead of like traditionally how we always see them be young and go through the whole way of how they get the powers.
Yeah,
Probably we may see some flashbacks because
yeah. I was
I
gonna say,
think that
yeah,
most people like when most people think of Reed Richards, they think of him with like the gray sides.
right.
Yeah,
Like I think that's just people's like image of Reed in their head, and so it made sense to me that they went this route. And they may talk about it or explain it, but it's also one of those situations where we didn't see Spider-Man's origin story. He had just kind of been doing this.
yeah. And
Yeah,
that's why I was wondering, like, will they do that same thing kind of with the Fantastic Four? Because I mean,
and I
by this
mean,
point, a lot of people kind of know the origin story.
right, especially with the franchise having what, three movies, what, two, three,
Uh,
Three
three.
two,
So they made
technically.
it one,
three,
two, and
yeah,
then the
three.
remake.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, it'll be four. That
Yeah,
old
like
one that was like in the
yeah, from the
80s
'90s. Like
or
there's
90s.
'Oh, okay.
that's
Yeah,
the thing. Like so, there are three first Fantastic Four movies.
Right.
There's the '90s one, the 2000s one, and then the 2017 one.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't think you have to tell that story. It's not super interesting anyway, to be honest. Um, I
And
mean, it would be interesting to see Doctor Doom before and after, but that's the most interesting part. Like the family, I'm not like before and after. I'm not as crazy about.
yeah,
And even though Pedro is old in real life, that doesn't necessarily mean that he'll be old in the movie because
Yeah,
we
he
we
looks
have
younger,
seen
anyways.
yeah, like we've seen people of a certain age play a different age and it's
Right.
been fine. So I don't know how much weight that will hold because Pedro's probably going to look like he does for a while.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, apparently, I don't know, Joe, if you were gonna bring this up, but like a woman named Vanessa Kirby is potentially. I don't know. I don't know. It's a bunch of rumors, but go ahead, Jordan, about the second one.
okay. So this next one is, and this one's pretty breaking news as of this recording. And like I said, we don't know if this is necessarily true. Uh the studios haven't come out and confirmed it, but they are eyeing Javier Bardem, is that how you say it?
Bardem,
Bardem.
Bardem,
A lot of people might know him from No Country from Old Men. He was King Triton in The Little Mermaid. He was also, I think, the bad guy in
Skyfall.
Skyfall. Yeah.
He was in
And so
La
they are
La
eyeing him.
Crocodile.
Yeah, I haven't
Mhm.
seen that one yet. But yeah, they are eyeing him to play Galactus, which now that I'm thinking about it, it isn't too bad because honestly, Galactus is fully masked up most of the time anyway. So I mean, I'm sure we're just going to see his mouth and CGI, and
Yeah,
he'll
like I
be doing a
think
lot of voiceover.
yeah, it's going to be like at the least a voice role, at the most a motion capture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could see it being a Thanos situation where it's, he looks like the actor. Obviously, the voice is the same, but then they'll, add all the extra stuff on top of it. But I'm not. I don't know. I'm not
Also,
super
not
mad
the
about
choice
it.
I would have made.
Yeah, it's definitely not my first. I wouldn't. He wouldn't even have been on my thought list, honestly.
But Javier Bardem is kind of known for villain roles. Like
Hmm.
I mean, No Country for Old Men, Skyfall. Like he does a villain well, and so maybe that's why they went with him. But I mean,
Yeah.
he's just Spanish Jeffrey Dean Morgan,
Right. I
and
just don't know.
I mean, great
He's
actor. I'm not trying to take
yeah,
away
no,
from his acting. Like
for sure.
he can. He's one of those people. Like, if you put him in a movie again, it's probably going to go well.
Right. I just for me, Galactus is like one of my favorite Marvel characters. Like he's so interesting. His story is interesting. He interacts with so many different characters, and and so and anytime he shows up, it's always like, oh shit, like Galactus is coming. So I was always looking forward to like, all right, who are they gonna do? Who are they gonna use? Who are they gonna use? And then this is just like, okay, it might work. I just wouldn't have thought of this person at all when thinking about the role.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
And
I
then
mean, Marvel has not made very many bad casting choices.
yeah,
Like, so generally speaking, I trust them in that regard because while they don't have any, like, off the top of my head, they don't have any just like misses where it's like, what the fuck were you thinking?
I, Brie Larson isn't. No, I don't think it's to that degree.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Like,
think,
it's
yeah,
not the kind of miss Jesse Eisenberg was.
right. No, facts. That's facts.
yeah, that was
That's
terrible.
facts.
But
That was
like,
awful.
that's one where I'm like, they could have gone better.
Yeah,
But I don't hate that choice. Like, I don't think it was a bad choice. I just think we could have, thought about it a little harder. Saw who
right,
else was available.
right.
Um, so then last thing about this Fantastic Four. So I guess it's going to be directed by Matt Shackman, who is the same person who directed WandaVision. And so for the most part, we all enjoy WandaVision. But I would definitely say like after the writer strike and the actor strike, like it's been over, like we've gotten so much information. Um, I just want to throw this out here real quick. We got a trailer for What If Season 2, which in my opinion, I watched the trailer, looks way better than season 1. And we also got the trailer for Madam Web, which I was not expecting that at all. That's gonna be set in the Sonyverse, and then I feel like there was one more trailer or one more teaser that we got, but off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is. Oh, it was a Suicide Squad game. My bad. But yeah, that's a little bit of everything. Um, oh well, I guess the Avengers Kang Dynasty. They lost their director, so
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know
it was. It was kind of odd
what's gonna
because
happen with that.
he was. It was the director who directed Shang-Chi. He was
Yeah,
supposed to come back and direct that. I honestly think it's more due to them. It's the rumor is they're pivoting from like even more now that they're pivoting from Kang.
Kang.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah, I
gonna
think he just go ahead and jump ship before anything just gets worse.
right. I think they're gonna rename that Avengers movie and kind of go from there. But yeah, we'll see. But I think it's a kind of reactionary. But then also it's like this multiverse thing ain't working. So try to quickly make a left or make a U turn, get back
Yeah,
to what works.
yeah. Uh, I'm curious to see what people think about us like covering rumors. Like, do they like us covering rumors, or do they really rather just see them on their own? Because some people might not know any of this information, and we could be the only podcast they listen to where they could
Yeah.
get the information from. So
I mean,
I'm curious to see if people like it.
yeah, I know a lot of people who aren't tapped into that degree. So, I mean, yeah, I think it could be good for us to like inform them and then give our opinions on it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when I be just talking to people in regular day life, they be like, no, I had no clue. I find out when I walk in the theater. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, yeah, definitely let us know if you care about us covering rumors or not. And I've already told you where you can find us at. So, all right, take it away, Spencer.
Jordan, please run the spoiler warning. Listen to these words, for they may determine your next course of action. This is your official Name brand. League of Melanated Gentlemen. Spoiler warning. We are issuing this spoiler warning not only for the piece of media or content that is in the title of this episode, but also for the world or the universe in which that piece of media or content exists. If you are not caught up, I would highly recommend you pause my voice, you catch yourself up, and then you join us once again. If you are all the way caught up, and or if spoilers do not offend you, please enjoy. And so with that out of the way, we can discuss, I can't necessarily call it the newest Disney hotness, but it is the newest Disney Plus hotness. It's just not the newest MCU hotness. We would like to have gotten this review to you a little earlier, but they keep stacking shit up. So, it had to, come a little later. But that's okay, because we are here for you. This review's been highly requested, and so we got to give the people what they need. So you should have listened to our review of the first episode of Loki. So now I'm going to read a synopsis in my own words for episodes 2 through 6, and then we're just going to talk about it. So, episode 2, Breaking Brad. We open with Loki and Mobius looking for Sylvie in 1977 London. They and B-15, X5, pretending to be a famous actor calling himself Brad Wolf. They begin chase and Loki captures him. They bring him back to the TVA for questioning. OB is trying to fix the temporal loom and gives Loki and Mobius a guidebook to figure out what is going on with Brad's jailbroken temp pad. After a very tense interrogation, Mobius loses his cool, so he and Loki get pie and devise a plan to get him to talk. During round 2 of interrogations, Loki gets Brad to tell him where Sylvie is. OB attempts to contain the branch situation, but realizes that it can't be done without Miss Minutes, who is nowhere to be found. Brad takes Loki and Mobius to the McDonald's where Sylvie is working. At first, she has no intention of going back, but then learns from Brad that Docs is pruning all of the branches. They are able to capture Docs, but a lot of damage has already been done, and some of her people were able to escape. Renslayer is located, and Sylvie goes back to McDonald's. Episode 3, 1893. We open with Renslayer arriving in Chicago, 1868, where she meets with Miss Minutes. He Who Remains made a plan for, if he died, to drop off a TVA guidebook to a young variant version of himself. Loki and Mobius use the trace on Renslayer's temp pad and arrive in Chicago, 1893, at the World Fair. They see Victor Timely presenting his temporal loom prototype, and then he hustles up, a cool little grip. Renslayer is trying to talk to him. Loki and Mobius are trying to talk to him, and they end up being chased by some of the folks that he hustled. Then Sylvie shows up and tries to kill him. Miss Minutes provides a distraction, and Victor Timely is able to escape with Renslayer. They travel to Victor Timely's laboratory in Wisconsin, and Miss Minutes convinces him to dump Renslayer. When they arrive at the laboratory, Miss Minutes starts talking about love and a physical body, so Victor's like, nope, and turns her off. Renslayer shows up, then Loki and Mobius show up. Renslayer starts monologuing, then Sylvie shows up. After pleading for his life, Sylvie lets Victor Timely go back to the TVA with Loki and Mobius. She then kicks Renslayer to He Who Remains' dead body. Miss Minutes tells Renslayer that she knows a secret about her. Episode 4, Heart of the TVA. We open with Miss Minutes showing Renslayer that she was the leader of the army that led to He Who Remains claiming victory. He then sent her to run the TVA and wiped everyone's memories. Loki, Mobius, and Sylvie take Victor Timely to OB, and they talk through a plan to fix the temporal loom. B-15 goes to Dox and asks for help because deep down she knows that Dox cares about protecting the TVA. Renslayer shows up and offers to give them a life if they help her. Brad is the only one interested in joining her, so Miss Minutes executes Dox and her entire squad. Miss Minutes locks everyone out of the TVA system, and Brad takes Victor Timely to Renslayer. Loki runs into the time-slipped version of himself and prunes himself, saving himself, and OB reboots the system so that Miss Minutes is no longer a problem. This also shuts down the magic suppressors, so Sylvie takes over Brad and prunes Renslayer. Victor Timely is able to get the door open. He puts on the suit and heads out there, but is immediately, he does the noodle dance, meaning he is turned into a colorful al dente angel hair pasta. Then the temporal loom explodes. Episode 5, Science/Fiction. We open with Loki standing in the control room alone, having survived the explosion. He finds himself time-slipping again. Then, like Victor Timely, the entire TVA HQ does the noodle dance. Loki then time-slips through everyone's origin story. We see that Casey is Frank Morris escaping Alcatraz in 1962. B-15 is a doctor in 2012. Mobius is a jet ski salesman named Don. OB is a science fiction author in 1994 named Doug. Since Loki is unable to control his time slipping, he needs to get to a point before the explosion. Doug suggests that Loki get everyone together. Doug is able to build a temp pad, and Loki is able to collect everyone except Sylvie. When Loki does find Sylvie, she still has her memories and is not interested in helping Loki at all. She does get him to admit that he doesn't want to be alone. Sylvie's world starts doing the noodle dance, so she decides to help. Then, in Doug's lab, everyone starts to do the noodle dance. But through the power of friendship, Loki learns to control time slipping. He is able to slip back to before the explosion. Episode 6, Glorious Purpose. We open with Loki having time slipped back to right before Victor Timely did the noodle dance, asking OB what they could have done differently to fix this problem. The answer is that they just needed to go earlier. So Loki slips back further and further, trying to ensure that the job gets done before it's too late. Loki is able to slip back far enough for Victor Timely to fix the loom, but because the branches are infinitely multiplying, there's nothing they can do to keep it from overloading. So Loki slips back to the point before Sylvie kills He Who Remains. She says, "If you want to stop me, you're going to have to kill me." Eventually, He Who Remains has Sylvie go away so that they can talk. He Who Remains explains that the temporal loom is just a failsafe to delete everything in order to protect the sacred timeline. He Who Remains then tells Loki that he needs to kill Sylvie, but he slips back to his initial arrival in the TVA and talks to Mobius. After they talk about the big picture, he slips back to episode 5 to talk to Sylvie. Then Loki slips back to before it explodes, and he goes in there himself and destroys the loom, which sees branches floating freely. Then Loki sits on his throne and forms all of the branches into a tree and taking over as the overseer of time. Now, everything seems to be good over at the TVA. B-15 has a seat on the board. Miss Minutes is no longer bloodthirsty. The TVA is keeping track of He Who Remains variants. OB releases a new edition of the TVA guidebook. Victor Timely never gets the guidebook as a child. and Renslayer is in the Pruned Lands, and Mobius retires. And that's Loki. Season 2.
Great work. Great work.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. So Brandon, out the door. What's the number?
I want to say, I wish I had looked at what I gave
I
season.
have it right in front of me. Do you want me?
Okay.
Oh, so when we reviewed it, I don't remember us doing this, which is crazy. But I don't know, did we predict what we thought it was gonna be, or did we say what we felt about episode 1?
I thought we did both.
Yeah, I thought we did both.
Okay. Well, I have myself at a 7.5. I have Brandon at a 7.5, and I have Spencer at an 8.
I think that
But
that sounds like our predictions for what it's
Yeah.
gonna be, because I'm pretty sure I did not give that first episode an 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Overall for the season, I'd give it an 8. I'd give it an 8. I thought it was a slow burn. Definitely, I feel like season 1 was like closer to a 9, maybe even, 9.5. Whereas it was a few episodes like, okay. I enjoyed them, but they weren't necessarily to the level, we've gotten from Loki every time. It definitely wasn't like dialogue heavy like season 1 was, which is kind of what made it such a great show, with Mobius and Loki kind of running around buddy cop. But the last like 3 episodes really, they hit. And so, yeah, I have to give it an 8. I thought it was really good. Executed well. It was a good ending. Wish some of the characters got more time. Like I wish Mobius got a little more time. Some of these people got more time, but overall, I thought they did a good job.
Okay, I'll go next. An 8. I will say I think that I think the dialogue was good. I mean, I think that this show was still led by good dialogue, and
Mm-hmm.
that it was like I didn't feel like dialogue was missing, or that was an issue. I feel like they did that well again, at least for the whole thing. I mean, I do like the little conversations that Mobius and Loki would like have with each other. Like that was very buddy cop.
Mm-hmm.
Just their little interactions about like little things.
Right.
So that was good. But yeah, as far as the dialogue and like talking through what all is happening, and Loki having to do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And yeah, I'm thinking 8. I I enjoyed it more than I was worried about not being able to enjoy it based on the
Yeah.
first episode, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I also had faith that because it was Loki, they would deliver in the end. And like you said, the burn was slow.
Yeah.
Like, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, just piggybacking off what you just said, for me, the first 2 episodes were super slow. Honestly, I feel like they could have either combined those 2 episodes or cut like 3/4 of that in to one singular episode within those 2 episodes. Because I was like, yo, if this is what the show is gonna be like, I'm not gonna like this. But then it picked up. Episode 3 was good, and then like Brandon said when we talked about it, like the last 3 episodes, those were amazing. I really love that. I do wish that we also got to spend a little bit more time with Sylvie, and some of the other characters. Honestly, some of the time manipulation, time slipping, going back and forth. I did get a little lost sometimes, but that's just how time travel is. Like, I guess once we really start talking about it, I'll get into more details. But yeah, the ending was it was a fantastic ending, and I'm going to bump my score up to an 8, but we'll see how if it continues to go up um after we kind of finish talking about everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Gentlemen, do we want to talk through the characters or do we want to talk through the episodes?
I do. I want to touch on Sylvie just real quick.
Okay.
First season, I was like, okay, I don't love the idea, but another Loki, okay, cool. She did a good job. So I was like, okay, cool. This season, she was the most annoying character the whole season. It was just like they were explaining to her very logical stuff. It was like very logical. Hey, okay, we need to go back and fix this thing because it's going to cause it. I don't care. And it was just like,
Yeah,
bruh, how are you not understanding what he's explaining to you? And it's like, I don't know. It just felt like whatever
she
situation it was, she was the one in the room who was the most illogical person out of everybody. It was just like, what?
she was
It,
definitely going off of emotion, and yeah, it makes sense. That it's like, yo, Sylvie, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. She's like, nope, I'm gonna kill he who remains. That's the only thing I care about.
right.
Well, they address that because she says in the episode, like, I'm selfish as fuck. And she says to Loki, like, she makes the point that he is too, but like she very specifically is like, no, I'm very selfish. Like that's what this is. That's how we got here. Was
But that,
my selfishness.
but he explains like, okay, you could be selfish, but all that stuff you want to enjoy selfishly ain't gonna be around if
Right.
you do what you continue to
Literally
do.
all of time will be wiped away if you
Right.
continue doing this.
And she was like, yeah, but what about free will?
Yeah. What
Okay.
about these fries? These fries I'm selling. But
Yeah. Flipping burgers at Burger King.
yeah, man.
Uh,
Yeah. But
yeah. How did y'all feel about Mobius this season?
Pretty the same as the first season. Like, thought he did good.
yeah, no,
I'm glad he was there. Had a good time. Like I said, he definitely filled the buddy cop spot.
right.
I thought it was
Well,
interesting. Them kept going to go get pie. I was like, dude, what's up the thing with pie? And they was like, you want to go get pie? And then they asked Sylvie, did she want to go get pie? I was like, no, why I want to go get pie? That's why I was thinking, like, bro, wait, they just want to go get pie in the break room? Like, is that what they said?
yeah, you gotta have a solid break room. Their break room looked legit too.
Bro, they had
Um,
like they had all the pies in there.
yeah. I thought Mobius in this series took a little bit of a backseat as
Yeah.
compared to season one. There was just now that we have all the cast members, they kind of have to focus and put a little time into them.
Yeah, I think that yeah, like a lot of Mobius's minutes had to go to OB, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Had to go to OB.
Yeah.
We had a little more Victor Timely, so some more minutes got to go to them, and things of that nature. But I thought Mobius was great, and I thought the time they did focus on Mobius, I mean, Owen Wilson like kills it every time. Like when he was actually the salesman, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like
Dude, he
he
was
just,
legit still trying to sell them damn jet
bro,
skis.
Oh yeah.
like in the midst of like a time collapsing tragedy, he's like, hey, you need a, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
like
need anything?
I can't ride two at the same time. So,
Right. But
but
no, he
that
was
that explains his fascination with jet skis from the first season.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's yeah, just seeing him with his boys and all that stuff, like those episodes was amazing. So anytime they anytime they gave my ISO, he killed it. So
I don't remember if we talked about it. I don't think we did on the first episode, but if you guys were in Mobius' position, would you want to know what your counterpart is? Like, would you want to know where you're at on the timeline?
nope.
I think my curiosity would have me wondering, but I wouldn't want to actually know.
Yeah.
And it's for
So
that
that
reason. Like I wouldn't want to see if I had children, then that'd be an issue for me.
Right.
So
yeah, no, I
nah,
wouldn't. Someone asked me that, and I was like, I wouldn't want to know, because like once you know,
you
is it
can't
like
unknow.
yeah, and like what if you really want that life?
Yeah, you literally gonna do what Mobius did. Like he's not gonna be able to do his job anymore. He gotta go back.
Yeah, he
You know?
Yeah,
retired so that he could. Yeah,
Right. So I mean, no, I would I mean, like I said, it could be bad. It could be where I feel better about the situation I'm in with the TVA. But like you said, like you're taking a chance to where you might be in a situation where you got a family, a wife, all these things that you love,
yeah,
and you're just like, damn, I'm out here living this office. But it's a good question though.
yeah.
okay, okay. OB,
Loved
He
Obi,
was
man.
cool. Yeah, yeah, he was cool. I like the Obi.
He was
He was
hilarious, bro.
just he's
I
like
loved Obi.
too smart for his own good. Like he's like, Obi, hypothetically, could this happen? He's like, no, you can't do it. He's like,
Yeah,
but hypothetically, say no, it's not. It's impossible. And then he's like,
right.
oh, he's like talking about the time slipping. He's like, no, time slipping is impossible. Say, but you just saw him do it. He's like, oh yeah. I was like, like that. That stuff had me laughing right there.
Bro, I love his little office, bro. I was nerding out in that little office he had, bro. I was like, bro, this type of stuff I love, where it's just an office of inventions and stuff, and
Yeah.
half of them aren't even finished yet, and all that stuff. It just all every Obi was great, and then every like set piece he was in was great. Even when they was in was they on Earth, I'm assuming, and they were like he was grabbing all the not variants, but the OGs were,
Oh yeah.
and
When
they
I
were
was going back to get them, and they went back to like that room or whatever.
yeah, like
Yeah.
carrier, whatever that was. That was a dope set piece. But no, Obi was amazing, man. He was a great addition to the show.
Okay. Okay. Um, and then B15 and Casey also got pretty good number of minutes,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel
but they
like
were.
B15 took a step back.
I mean, they were in the. I mean, they weren't like main squad necessarily, but they were absolutely like in the next tier of
I mean,
character, I guess.
I feel like season one they was in the B tier, and then I feel like in this season they took the C tier. Like I feel like they stepped back even more. Because I was hoping to
Yeah.
see something to happen between B15 and when the other squad was stuck in that room before they all got killed. Like she gave them opportunity to like come to their side. Like I thought we were
Hmm.
gonna see more interaction with that stuff. She gave like a heartfelt speech, and yeah, we couldn't see that paid off because they got killed.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. I mean, B15 definitely didn't get as much time. I wish we got a little more focus on like, didn't she have like a family or some shit? Like she was a doctor.
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
saw that she was a doctor. Like, so
That's
she
right.
was just helping a child, and then that was all
Yeah.
we saw. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know if we got her name.
Yeah. Like I feel like we might have, but I don't remember. But I wish we got a little more time with her. Like a little more time. Because I mean, she was struggling with the fact that
the
of going,
concept.
yeah, the concept of going back, like just as much as Mobius was. So it'd
Yeah,
have been cool to get a little more time to see, like, what she was struggling with and all that stuff. So,
and
but
honestly,
overall, the character was great.
I forgot the other guy. Like when the episode where uh Loki goes to rescue the original ones and the dude is like 1938 escaping from prison.
Oh
Bro,
yeah,
I was so lost. I was like, who is this dude? I did not remember him at all.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why they made him like that was random. Uh,
yeah.
the fact that they put him in Alcatraz, and I mean they actually made him a real person. Like that was strange.
It was kind of funny
No.
when he was like Loki trying to steal stuff the place,
Yeah,
but
I mean, and that's his thing. Like he was a thief. Like that's
yeah,
what he was in Alcatraz for.
right, right,
But yeah, like making him Frank Morris was an odd choice, I think.
yeah, I agree. Um, the other guy wasn't he like an actor? He was a very successful
Oh,
actor. Was it Brad?
uh
Was his name?
Brad Wolf.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, yeah, that was, and so he was, just kind of doing that. Like that wasn't
yeah.
a variant of it. Like that was him.
Oh, that's
He
right.
left the
He wanted to
Choosing.
timeline.
live. That's
Yeah,
right. That's
that was
right.
him choosing to live a life.
Yeah, that was a good episode. Um,
And I'm glad we got to see Loki use some magic in it,
yeah, that's true.
because that's one of the things that I really liked about that episode is Loki got to be Loki.
Hmm.
And
Oh
yeah,
yeah, is that the one where they're trying to get Victor Timely and they like Loki got to do all the magic stuff? Is that episode?
they
He
don't
used,
have Victor Timely yet. Like we haven't
yeah,
met
he
Victor
used
Timely
it
in this episode. He used it to
to,
capture Brad.
yeah,
Oh, he made like a bunch of copies of himself, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
Gotcha. Okay, I
reminds
remember.
you how powerful Loki is. Sometimes you forget, like with
Bro,
all
you
these
definitely. I
episodes.
mean, Mobius said it. He was like, sometimes I forget that you're a god.
Yeah, it's
Because remember
facts.
they saw what did they see like all the Norse gods like they saw Odin
Yeah.
Yeah,
and Loki was like Odin doesn't look like that or said something
And
along those
I don't know who
lines.
that third person was.
that was.
like I'm
His
not
brother.
like I'm not super familiar with Norse mythology, like only a
I
little
thought it was
bit. So that's
one of the trio. You know what I'm talking about? Who
oh, the Warriors
the
3.
yeah, the Warriors 3. I thought it was one of them because I thought they mentioned that.
I thought it was apparently in the comics. Thor has a brother, and that's who they were talking about. Like that was comic accurate. Whatever they were when they explained it. I guess the brother hasn't shown up in like many comics since. But I remember someone doing like a YouTube explain thing, and they said he was like a Thor legitimate brother in the comics, but that was like in the '90s or whatever.
And I'm sure that it like that dude is actually in Norse mythology somewhere, but like
Yeah, probably.
I don't know Norse myth. Like I didn't feel the need to check. I was just like, whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, that scene was funny. Like that kind of interaction with Mobius and uh Loki just being like, you sound a little jealous.
yeah,
And Loki being like, he does who is nobody knows him. And I was like, Loki's not wrong. Like
right.
nobody knows that guy.
Sure.
So that made sense.
What did?
And then we got to
No,
we
go
got to
ahead.
talk about Jonathan Majors.
I was just about to bring that up, man. How did y'all
Yeah,
feel about the Victor Timely performance?
bro, it sucks that he's going through what he is going through, dude. It sucks because I enjoyed him as Victor Timely, and I enjoyed him even more as He Who Remains.
Yeah,
Like,
That's
yeah,
I'm in that
it's
same boat. Like
unfortunate.
Victor Timely, like I was kind of tired of Victor Timely, but like
same.
that's because he was a character that like that was the character, and he did that very well. And then when he was He Who Remains, I was like, oh, I forgot how good he was as He Who Remains.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, he was
that's what
amazing. That sucks.
felt like he got in his bag. The Victor Timely, for me, it was a little overacted. It was a little. I was just like, all right,
But,
bro.
but but if you think about it, bro, he what are you from like the 1930s? He literally got
He was from
transported
the
into the future.
1800s.
Yeah, it was 18,
Oh, the
late
Yeah,
1800s.
1800s.
late
Yeah,
1800s. So, and
That's what I'm saying. So everything
that's
around him,
one
and he's
thing.
nervous.
I mean, and he was that way in general. Like, and I mean, I see why, but yeah, like he kind of fit into a like super nerd stereotype,
yeah.
but also, and we'll definitely get into this, but I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it now. Um, he was a hustler, and
Bro,
they kept calling him boy. You know how many niggers he would have been
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
in
he wouldn't be
night
alive.
Yeah, in 19th century Chicago, oh yeah,
Bro,
there would have been hard R's all over the place.
bro.
He would not
They,
have made it out of there.
bro, he'd be dead if you sell like stuff that don't work, faulty stuff that don't work to a white guy. The first time they say, "Hey, man, you stiffed me," he'd have been dead.
But that's
go get this. Go get the shotgun. Get the dogs.
but they tried to
Get
kill
the
him
rope.
and they weren't
Yeah,
able to, like because there were magic people in the way. But yeah, no, they wanted to get him.
But you know that ain't the first time he done stiff
yeah.
somebody.
Yeah, that's the thing because we see him meet one of the people that he got earlier, and he was
Right.
like, "I'll come by next week," and no,
Yeah. You
that's
can
not
tell
happening.
he's very comfortable giving people like, I'll come back next week. I'll fix
Yeah,
that
like,
thing.
he's a hustler.
Yeah, he's a hustler.
But
Um,
yeah, I just thought like, oh, they okay, Disney. Y'all if y'all weren't gonna do it, you didn't need to do it.
yeah, I
Because
agree. Yeah, I agree.
but
But no, I mean, yeah, like you said, like especially when he became He Who Remains again, I was like, damn, this
He's
is
cooking.
he was cooking. Like, and people shit on Quantumania, I get it, but like he was cooking in there too.
yeah,
Like
Yeah,
that's
every
the thing, like
time he's
every time he's on screen, it's good.
yeah, every time he's able to play He Who Remains or Kang, he cooks every time, and it's just like he's just surrounded by Quantum Mania is surrounded by some bullshit. But bro, I'm just like I don't know. The
when
multiversal thing is kind of trash the way they've done it. But it's like if they would have just focused more on Kang, we don't need 13 different versions of Kang. We just need about 3 or 4.
Well,
You know
as
what I mean?
are a bunch of versions of Kang, and so they went with an actor who can handle multiple versions of Kang. So,
Right.
I mean,
When
it was a good move, I think. But yeah, He Who
it
Remains
just
is yeah, like that's I was like that this
when
I just
Loki
wish we had more time with him. He's so good.
Yeah.
when Loki was talking to him and Victor's I'm not Victor, and then He Who Remains who was like, this ain't the first time we've had this conversation. And
Bro.
Loki's like what? And then and also like when he snaps and freezes everything, and then Loki's like,
Yeah.
what makes you think I can't do that? And then he like undoes everything. I'm like, come on now, they cooking right now.
Yeah. When they was in
Yeah.
every
They
time they in
cooking.
that room, I know we gonna I know we gonna cook. Cause yeah, when
Yeah.
he was like, I know what's going on here. Like at first I was like, he's just a part of the loop, right? Loki's the only one who's kind of in on it. And he's like, nah, homie, like, I know what you're
Yeah.
doing. Let's go ahead and
He's
cut
like,
her out of this.
Yeah,
And
because
you're still
because
trying to figure out time skipping?
yeah.
yeah, whenever Loki was like, so you're just not going to defend yourself? He was like, all right,
Yeah.
and then
He's like,
Sylvie just stopped.
yeah. He's like, finally you talk to me. All right, let's run this back. Uh
Yeah,
but
that
no,
was
that's funny.
man,
Yeah, he's like,
that was
I
so
thought you
good.
I thought you'd be past this level already.
Yeah. He was like,
Yeah.
you ain't learned this yet? And then he
Yeah.
just Loki's go grab the chair and like, all right, let's talk.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. They was in the
Bro.
bag on that one.
And it was crazy because he was just like, yeah, that thing the loom you've been obsessing over, that's
It's
just a
just a
little
fail
extra
safe.
alarm
Just
system.
fail safe. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a little extra alarm
I'm
system I
like,
got set up
and then
just in case.
and I've it seems like there's been a theme in the MCU lately of like you're gonna have to make the hard choice.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you want this title, you are gonna have to make the hard choice. So either you kill her or we keep going through this.
Yeah.
And I got Tom.
Yeah, today I got
Yeah.
time. But
What
I love that he was like, "Oh, you thought killing me was enough to make me die?
right, yeah.
Nah, you got me confused. Like,
He's like,
of course
y'all
I'm
still mess
prepared."
with y'all still mess with Victor? Is it Victor Timely? He's like, I'm like, yo, he calling out a own version of himself, making fun of the other version of himself. I'm
Yeah.
like,
He's like, oh,
man,
y'all talk to that little square ass dude.
yeah,
Um, would y'all have killed Sylvie? What would y'all have done?
in a
Yes,
heartbeat.
I
I know
absolutely would
y'all
have killed
too.
her.
Yeah, I would.
I know y'all too. Y'all too the type niggas just be like, oh, there's an option here? Oh.
I
Oh.
mean, I wouldn't want to kill her, but like under the circumstances, yeah, she got to die.
Bro, this sound like our
Yeah.
Transformers argument, bro. Y'all dirty.
So
Under the
wait, you
circumstances,
wouldn't do it? You wouldn't do it?
I I would have did like Logan. I would have just been like, all right, hold on. All right, let me really hone in on this and see what my options are before I gotta murder somebody. But
I
y'all
wouldn't.
niggas just
Run that
No,
like,
I
card
wouldn't
another
kill her
57,000
immediately.
times.
I would have,
Yeah.
done my due diligence and been like, oh, well, if this is the only way, she got to go.
I'm like, damn,
I
that's
don't want to do it.
crazy.
I'm not going to like it. This is not something like I am going to have to grieve. But she said, if you want to stop me, you're going to have to kill me. Okay.
Yeah.
say less.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to do it. But honey, you got to die today.
That's tough, man. That's tough. Murder that lady.
Yeah. I don't want to do it.
So, all right. So when it came to like all the time traveling stuff, did you guys like catch on immediately? Because I feel like it was like might have been like episode 4 or yeah, I'm pretty sure it's episode 4 when Loki basically sees himself um stuck in the loop trying to free himself, so he prunes himself. I
Yeah.
ain't gonna lie, I got a little lost there. Did y'all fully understand what was going on?
Yeah.
Yes. Like that's the point when I understood what was going on.
Yeah. That was like the clarification. Because remember, it happened in episode 1. I was like, what the hell? We didn't see who pruned him. But we were like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? But
And then
then it all wrapped around.
because then we see Loki say to Sylvie, like, hey, I saw you in the future. What the fuck was that about? And she was like,
Yeah.
why would I know the answer to that?
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we saw that
Gotcha.
come back around town and we saw it like what the real time situation was. So yeah,
Gotcha.
that's
So
the point when it made sense to me.
and I guess this means like Loki is the reason why Mobius got taken from the timeline, correct? like, because remember, Mobius didn't know how he ended up in the TVA. But according to this timeline, Loki is the one who grabbed him from being a salesman and pulled him into the TVA. Did y'all see that way or no?
Technically, that I guess is what happened. Because the thing is, the way that the MCU explained time travel and then Loki are like the MCU explained time travel one way, and then Loki contradicts all of that because
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way that time travel works is all of the branches. But I guess because the TVA exists outside of the branches and there is only one TVA, um, it works the same way that most time travel does, in that if you go back in time, you are affecting the one timeline that exists in the TVA. So, based on that, yeah, it looks like paradoxically, it is in fact Loki who recruited um Mobius.
all of them. All
Yeah.
Mobius, B-15, like all of them.
But we also don't know because it looks like I didn't take it that way because the way I saw it, Kang still recruited these people and he still wiped their memories and like all of that shit still happened.
That's I guess that's what I couldn't like articulate it, but I guess that's what I thought. It was like in the future, later on, before Loki got there and took them, tried to use them to help him, Kang comes, picks them up from wherever timeline or branch they're on, then wipes their memories, uses them in the TVA.
Because
But with
from what I saw, they did the noodle dance. All the people that he collected, like
Right,
they
that's
they
true.
they did the noodle dance. So
and I was
they
like,
don't exist
Loki
anymore.
went back multiple times, even like that's why I was like, he went back multiple times, then eventually grabbed them out of the timeline that they were in, almost starting the TVA, but I feel like He Who Remains still started the TVA,
I don't
but
Yeah.
maybe at
think
that time.
I don't remember Loki going back any further than the point where Sylvie is about to kill He Who Remains. Like I don't remember Loki going back beyond that. So that's why I'm still under the
Well, he
impression that
had to, because remember he went back to learn everything that, because Obi was like, "How long would it take you to learn everything that I know?" And he was like, "What do you say, 1,000 years or something?"
Centuries.
Yeah,
okay. And with that being the case, I guess I didn't take that to mean that Loki actually started the TVA and all that because the TVA I guess kind of exists outside of time. We don't know how long it's been there. We don't
right.
know
The
how long
TVA
ago.
does, but maybe not the people.
Yeah. But yeah, so I
Because
don't
like He Who
there's no
Remained might have grabbed Renslayer and grabbed uh like the white lady who was leading the other
oh
Minutemen
docs.
people. Yeah, grabbed like all the Minutemen people, but then with Loki doing all the time travel, he ended up grabbing B-15, Mobius, the other random white dude that I'll never remember his name. Um, like I thought he grabbed them and put them in the TVA at that point.
And didn't
That could be
they
true, but I didn't take it that way.
and didn't they
Gotcha.
kind of break down the thought of like TVA is outside of time? Because if you can time slip in the TVA, then that means, you know what I mean? Like if he can jump back to a point in the TVA that happened where they were in the boardroom and he grabs Victor Timely earlier than, you know what I mean? Like he was time slipping in the TVA, which if you're outside of time, that shouldn't be able to happen.
I don't know, because then also it was like even when he took Mobius, we saw another Mobius basically take the spot. So like Mobius saw himself as the father.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
basically, so that's why I was like he had to take him and put him in the TVA, and basically his other self just continued living. Time travel would be confusing.
Yeah. I'd have
And
to watch it again just to double check. But
the thing that I wonder is, I guess what happened to Loki? Because with with the explosion, everybody I guess got reset to their origin story, except for Sylvie, who just kind of went back to where she was before. but
Hmm.
Loki lived, survived, just took it, and then just started time slipping again. So did the explosion like make him a time god? Or
I I took it as because he is a god, this didn't affect him the
but
way
Sylvie is too, and she was not affected the same way.
right, but she remembered everything. So like it
But
really didn't
that's
affect her. It took
all.
her, but it took her back, I guess you're saying.
Yeah, like it did not do the same thing to Loki and Sylvie. And
Hmm,
so that's I'm still confused as
gotcha.
to why it didn't affect them the same way, but also what it did to Loki, or like what caused Loki to, because the time slipping thing was explained as you know, basically exist outside of time, and so you need to be pruned and then pulled out of the temporal loom. So that doesn't apply to this time slipping though.
Right.
Time
So
travel.
yeah, like I don't
That
understand.
see, I know I was time travel. I think I was trying to talk to this about with David, and we were still trying to wrap our head around it. It was a little tough. I like how also Sylvie and Loki are talking, and Sylvie tells him, which is something along the lines of, "We can't just act like we're gods." And then I knew Loki was going to be like, "But we are gods," and I'm
I
like,
said the
"Yeah,
same
you
thing.
guys are
Like
gods." Yeah,
before he said it, I said, "We are gods," and then he
yeah,
said,
yeah.
"We
I'm
are
like, yeah,
gods."
but you guys are gods, and I feel like we I know we mentioned earlier, but like through the series that we often forget that Loki is a god.
Right.
And I'm glad that they, you know, brought that up, because whenever OB was like, "Hey, we got to reset the system. It's gonna disrupt the magic suppressors." Sylvie and Loki were like, "Do it."
Yeah.
And
Right.
then, yeah, like got my powers back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
That's
Loki's powers are super unclear, but
they
that's
are.
fine.
That yeah, that's true. And I think that's what's cool about him, but also it's like, is that mischief or is that like just add on stuff? You know what I mean?
I think, yeah, like he can
yeah.
kind of just do whatever he wants.
Right.
Whatever needs to happen. He's
Yeah.
just it's yeah. But I'm glad we got to see him use powers like at all.
Facts. I I will say like my favorite like scene or I guess sequence, whatever, is when he does go back, learn, or he keep obviously he keeps trying with the loom and everything, but when he goes back to introduce Victor Timely to OB, that was hilarious. He was just like, "Hey, he wrote this book. Yeah, you guys know each other. That's great. Cool. All right, now we're gonna do
Yeah,
this." And
okay,
he
has
was
shit
just
to
like,
do.
"Yeah," he was like, just put him in position to like, "All right, this is what's gonna happen. This is how I explain it." Blah blah blah. It was just like, this is now you're letting Tom Hiddleston cook a little bit.
And I like that Mobius was catching, like he was like,
Yeah.
this time.
Right. Yeah.
Like so Mobius was catching that, like, no, we this why are you saying this time?
Right. Exactly. The detective,
So
of course, gonna catch him.
yeah.
Yeah. Did y'all think about like what it felt like to like be placed, like when the prisoners, and also when the actor dude Brad, when they placed him in like the little bubble and they got smaller and smaller? Could y'all
Yeah.
imagine that? Bro, when I
Bro.
I
saw that I was like, that would suck.
I knew that when we saw it, I was like, somebody's gonna get some that's gonna happen to somebody. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna just introduce that and not use it.
yeah, like it might be Brad later, but like somebody is getting boxed.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what that box looked like when all the prisoners got
Bro.
lit up in that?
The box disappears. So
Yeah.
I think we
But I
just
mean, before
never.
that, you saw it like
Yeah.
to
Well, because
like.
the
Actually,
box
no, it didn't disappear
flattens.
because remember B-15 walked in there and she looked startled to see it.
I thought she just saw that it was an empty room.
Nah, she was like it was like
Yeah,
shocked
she
at how
like freaked
gruesome it
out.
was.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like I thought that she knew what happened, but I didn't think she actually saw a flat
No, I feel like
box.
I feel like I feel like the way she looked at it looked like she
Yeah.
saw it.
Her
Okay, I think she
acting,
just knew what happened.
her reaction seemed like she saw something that was crazy.
Yeah, I'm
But
like, yo, that is probably going to be disgusting looking.
yeah, that's
I mean,
crazy. And for Brad, they should have known that nigga was going to be a traitor.
Now, what am I forgetting? What happened to Brad? What ended up happening to him?
I I know that Sylvie enchanted him and
Yeah.
he pruned Renslayer. I don't know what happened to him after that.
So he might just be out there still.
Well, maybe.
What if he pruned himself? Wonder.
Yeah, he may have pruned himself because I think like he just came out of the enchantment and was confused, but I can't remember.
I was like,
Like,
I don't think we know what happened to him.
yeah, I don't know where it fits into all of the time slipping and the noodle dance and the explosion, and I don't know where it fits into all of that.
Right.
So we might see him again. He might just be in 1977 as Brad.
Yeah.
Uh,
I wonder if he pruned himself and then because he knew what his well,
I I don't think he pruned himself only because we didn't see him when we saw Renslayer with Azaloth or Al whatever that thing is.
Elias.
Yeah, whatever,
yeah.
we didn't see him there, so I don't think he pruned himself. But also, we don't know.
Right.
Also, just because we saw Renslayer over by Elias, we don't know if he truly got her. So we don't know if she's truly dead or not.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that she is, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just saying like so they left it open for like a season 3.
oh yeah,
I think I do think this is the last season.
I agree.
Vermont. But I do think we'll see
because I was
Loki
gonna say,
again.
yeah, based on Loki's new job title, yeah, I think this is
Yeah.
I would. So I was talking to somebody at work about this. So I thought the next time, this was before we knew everything about the director leaving Kang Dynasty, but I was like, I think the next time we would have saw Loki would have been in Kang Dynasty since the TVA is looking for all the variants for that, and I feel like that would have been the perfect place for him to pop up. But
Hmm.
now at this point, it's like I don't know. I honestly don't know when we will see Loki again.
yep.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll see him, but it's definitely gonna have to be somebody's messing with some time travel stuff, and they got to go to him to get some help or go to the tree.
Honestly, I mean, how do you even get to him?
Go to
Like
yeah,
you
outside
don't
of
you
tunnel,
don't
the
even
end of
just get
tunnel.
to him.
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess that
And also, are branches still just infinitely multiplying? Because Loki made a tree and all that, but like
the
the
living.
whole point of the loom or the issue with the loom exploding was that branches were being infinitely created.
Hmm.
Loki destroyed the loom so that it wouldn't be overloaded. And so now there are just branches in there freely, but the multiplying problem is still happening.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't
What
think
I
so
took
either.
from is because the living tree, I'm pretty sure it's comic act like that's a comic thing. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's a North mythology thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, got you. And so I'm thinking there's not more now, but the ones that are already there can still exist.
That's what I took it
And
as well.
yeah, so
Okay,
they won't
so
get
I
destroyed.
so is it because Loki is there managing it that they aren't
Yes,
multiplying?
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, so because before they were multiplying because there was nobody to facilitate.
right.
Like,
Right. Nobody pruning them or anything or keeping them in check.
okay, but now that Loki has formed them into the time tree, uh
Idrisil.
yeah. Uh which I thought that it was a Norse reference, but since it's
It
made up of
was.
timelines, uh I yeah, I just took that to be like an homage rather than the actual Norse thing. But okay.
Yeah,
I think it is still the North because like I know a little bit about North. Like that's the same tree that Odin hung himself on for so many days to get the knowledge of the world and everything. But it's like Loki from the beginning told us that he wanted to be like he wanted to be that head god.
glorious
He wanted
purpose.
to be yeah, he was born for glorious purpose. And Odin literally was the most glorious god out there. And so I think this is Loki's version of Idrisil. And
Okay.
so he is that
And
god now.
I mean, and them being called branches makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean,
That was beautiful too, by the way.
no, it was. And like I
That
said,
was a
I was just about to
beautiful.
say it was a beautiful end to the. I mean, we'll see him again, but it was a beautiful end to like his story. Like it was a beautiful long term storytelling. As far as like he always wanted a throne. You know what I mean? He's always been looking for glorious purpose. Um,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So to now, basically, and he's always wanted friends, but now he gave that up to now be alone, so those friends can live on, and you know what I mean. So now it was an amazing end for this version of Loki.
And I'm
Yeah.
guessing they know that Loki is in there. Uh,
Yeah,
Only
and
the TVA people. Yeah.
well, yeah, and the fact that they were able to make it to He Who Remains would lead me to believe they could go talk to Loki if they wanted to. I don't know,
I don't think so.
but also we
Only
don't know what their memory situation is with Loki.
I think they remember everything, right?
Okay, because
I
Like
think
because they were all
I don't
because
know if they
yeah,
remember
everybody was
him
all sad.
walking in there and
Yeah,
yeah,
because remember at the end, Mobius is like talking to Sylvie,
oh
and they
yeah,
were just
you
talking
meant
about
like
how
it's weird that he's not here. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that
yeah.
conversation. I will say, not a big fan of Sylvie's mullet in this season.
I
Oh, I
didn't
didn't even
mind it.
I didn't even think about it. Yeah, it didn't even cross my mind.
I didn't
And the thing
mind
is,
it.
I when I saw her, I was like, I don't think I like her hair. And then whenever we saw him go back in the past and we saw the He Who Remains hair, I was like, yep, I definitely don't like the mullet.
She
It's not great.
she okay. I'm trying to look at pictures of her now. She usually has short hair, at least from what
Well,
I'm
yeah,
seeing.
definitely.
Oh,
And
you know what,
her hair in the
Spencer?
first
I agree.
season, her hair in the first season was fine, but her hair in this
Was a
season,
shortcut.
because the short hair didn't bother me. It was the mullet. Like
You're right. I
Yeah, I
forgot it
see
was
it
a
now.
totally
I
different
didn't. It didn't.
style.
Yeah, it didn't cross my mind. But now looking at it, season one was definitely better. But she
Yeah,
was also what in the '80s with, so that was like the thing.
Yeah, like
and in Oklahoma.
yeah, I guess I get it, but yeah, like that, mm, but not a fan. But her first season hair was better than her second season hair. So one, I guess, thing that remains to be addressed is whenever Docs had people that did escape, because whenever they caught Docs, pruning branches, and she was like, they've caught us, and she had some of her people just escape into the wherever.
Yeah,
But they don't know that Docs was like, yeah, I'm a reasonable person. I think that I can help because the TVA is what I like. That conversation never happened for them. So they are still out there rogue. I would like to know what that's going to mean. And I don't know if that's something that Loki can just handle. I don't know if that's something that the rest of the TVA was made aware of and is going to address because they still have, I assume, jailbroken temp pads.
yeah.
I what a I wonder if anything's going to come of that or if we're going to forget that happened
I
in the
think they're gonna
MCU.
forget.
Yeah, I agree. I did notice it though. Even when you read back the synopsis, I was like, wonder what happened to those people. But yeah, I think they'll just brush right over it as if everybody got in line when she got in line. And
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
they didn't go
because
about.
I was going to say we were never told or we were never under the impression that like the rest of her escaped people were captured and taken to the prison room.
Right.
So they could say that that's what happened. Like they just went and got all of them before we see them in the prison. I mean, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
did did Miss Minutes freak y'all out when she was giving her speech about wanting to have a body and everything, and she
Bro,
like
she
put
I
her
I
clock face
knew
on that
I knew
doll?
I knew that's where we were going. So no.
she freaked me out ever since. Ever since we found out she works for He Remains, every time she speaks, I'm like, all right, this is a little
Yeah,
weird.
she up to
I
something.
That's the thing. I clocked it, so I was prepared for it.
She's trying to get. I was like, she's trying to get freaky with Victor Thomas. She's talking about she over here want a body. I'm like, yo, what's she
Yeah.
trying to do?
Renslayer was trying to get about that action. Like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Victor Tomley, hey man, let's get it popping.
Yeah,
So yeah, I was yeah. I guess I was unbothered because I knew what was going on. and I was just waiting for her to say it.
Yeah. Victor Tomlin was a virgin too, so he didn't
Oh
know
yeah,
how to handle that situation.
yeah. Like he turned her off Miss
Yeah,
Minutes. The
exactly.
Renslayer thing, I think he would have been ready for that because whenever she was like, "I need to talk to you," he was like, "Oh yeah, I've got the time to talk to you.
Yeah,
Like
matter of fact, my
yeah,
schedule's
we
free.
can talk."
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah, and
that's
then
funny.
yeah, I'm whenever Miss Minutes manipulated him into throwing her off the boat,
Hmm.
I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, he put it out fast.
yeah." That was a little surprising
yeah,
because I knew that she was trying to do that, but I, didn't think she'd be successful.
right.
But yeah, then he wasn't ready for her to, be trying to have him.
It's still it's still odd to me that this Loki is just a variant of the one
The
like
Loki
he
we
got
know
the Tesseract.
in
You know
time
what I mean?
slipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this
Yes,
is this is still like villain in the first Avengers Loki.
exactly. And
Like
it's
it's
just like when you think about that, and after all these 2 seasons, you're like, damn, like I forgot.
It hits me when I think about Thor thinks his brother's dead. Like that's when it hits
Yeah,
me. I'm like, Thor don't even know that this version of Loki's even out
that's
there.
what I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if he would like time slip or just travel to see Thor at a certain time, just to talk to him, talk to his mom. You know what I
Well,
mean?
this
Maybe
Thor,
he
this
did.
this Loki hates Thor at this point, and also is his mom dead at this point?
no, this is his mom's not dead. Well, he doesn't know his mom's dead, or his mom hasn't died for
Yeah,
him
like
yet.
his mom hasn't died for him yet. He hates Thor,
Wait,
doesn't like Asgard, because this is after Avengers
because didn't
one. So,
didn't Mobius showed Loki the scenes though, right? Of
was that in
I think
season
so.
one?
I
yeah,
want
he
to say he
showed
did.
him like when he was talking to him and Loki had the thing on his neck. He showed him
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
I think he
what.
right.
showed him, yeah, like up to the Thanos point and
Yeah. So I
did kind of
mean,
like a you become a good guy.
right.
And, yeah, he had that conversation with him.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot about that. Okay, but either way, go. Thor doesn't have a brother. Like
Right.
he just
Yeah.
assumes
Yeah.
Loki's
So
out here just gone.
if Thor runs into Loki, then yeah, like Thor's probably not going to know what to do because Thor lived through all of the happy times with Loki and then watched Loki die.
Right.
And Loki, I wonder if they're going to have to like Thor's going to have to reconcile the fact that that is not the same Loki he spent those last few years
Like
with.
Peter did with Gamora.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
that's that's not get help Loki.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm when if they do meet whenever that does happen, like we'll see what happens.
Oh, we didn't mention this, but Taika Waititi is not directing Thor 5, which is good news. But
I did see that.
yeah. But it'd be dope if we got to see Loki in Thor 5. That'd be fire.
Keep him
Whichever
as
version.
Korg. Keep him as Korg. Let him do his Korg thing. Yeah, but
Yes, he should be cool.
he don't need to be director. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. You need to go serious Thor. More serious, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, um, whenever Renslayer and Miss Minutes both get rejected, they decide to just team up and say, we don't need his ass anyway.
Yeah.
And so what was Renslayer trying to do? Like what was her goal in
Purpose.
this? Was she trying to just retake over the TVA?
I think so.
That's the vibe I got as well.
And
And
so was she I assume she was unaware of the I guess the temporal loom situation.
I think they
I don't think
told her.
so.
I
Did
feel
they?
like they told her, but she was kind of like, I'm like, I don't give a damn or something like that. I can't remember,
Well,
but
I
I
guess
feel like they
they must
mentioned it.
have had to tell her because they were trying to take Victor from her.
Yeah, because I feel like they explained it from her. They were like, "Hey, we got a way bigger problem, like, and we need the aura and all that stuff."
And she may
I
have
didn't
been
know. I
like,
didn't.
she may have figured like, I need to take over because this shit wouldn't have happened if I hadn't, left in the first place. So
Yeah.
I need
And
to
I
get
guess
back
Miss
in charge.
Minutes, she just wanted to bring He Who Remains back.
Yeah, I think that's both of them. We're like they knew like they held a higher status if he who remains is there. You know what I mean?
Well, but
I would
she
have.
also said, "You will never be him."
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
That was
true.
creepy.
That
I
was.
would have loved to see the variant war that they had. I wonder will we ever see that in the MCU?
I
Probably
would.
if Jonathan, if he gets caught guilty or whatever they choose to do with him, we won't get that. But I wonder will one day will we get that if he does remain?
Like that's what I thought Kang Dynasty would include. Like
Probably
I thought that,
fast back to it.
yeah, like I thought Kang Dynasty would go over that whole thing, and
Probably right.
yeah, that was my anticipation. But who knows?
Now, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, that was
But
that
That's
was the
actually that's
thing
actually
that
right.
that the one creepy moment for me with Miss Minutes was like right before she got turned off. Like before she got reset.
hmm
Um, she said, "You will never be him."
Yeah,
true.
I was like, "Oh,
Oh, wait. Okay. I just confused myself. Okay. So remember when He Who Remains explained who the first wasn't it Richards homie like who the first He Who Remains was or the ones who lived, right?
like who was the very first variant?
Yeah, because isn't he basically isn't Kang like a descendant of Reed Richards? Isn't he like his
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
in the comic book, yes, but I don't remember that
I
being
thought I thought
referenced."
Victor was the first one that they established.
Probably right. I
Victor
feel
Timely?
Yeah, was he not the first variant?
I think he was because he is the one who wrote the TVA handbook. He is the one who
Right.
like so technically, yes. Like I guess Victor Timely becomes the one who remains.
so I guess okay, I think you're right. It sounds like they used the comic version of Reed Richards' descendant becoming Kang. Reed Richards' descendant, like he was very smart. He was very all these things that Victor Timely is. They basically used that Victor Timely as that, but then separated him from the Reed Richards thing. Because I was just like, hold on, because now that we think Reed Richards is going to be a a Mexican man, I was like, how the hell is that going to work?
I
But
mean, over to yeah, over
Oh,
I mean, it
time
ain't
that
also,
that
could be
far.
handled.
You know what I mean? Late 1800s. You know what I mean?
also, I'm thinking about it now. In Quantumania, the end credit scene, we see Ramatut, and he would outdate Victor Timely. But does that mean he outdates him on a different timeline and not the main sacred
Sacred.
Yeah,
timeline?
like I think because there are a bunch of branches, there could be, you know,
I do.
a
I
version like
think Victor is still the first on the sacred timeline,
Sacred
and then the
timeline.
other. Yeah, I think Victor is still the first one. So I think Victor is he who remains. But
which is
I don't know.
still, yeah, like unclear
Yeah.
because based on what OB said, like it is Victor Timely who wrote the guidebook and all of that, which would lead us to believe that that is the person who started all of this and thereby ends up being he who remains. But because there are an infinite number of variants and there was a whole war and stuff, we don't really know if that's the case.
Right. Anybody out there
Because
listening?
he who remains referred to Victor Timely
That's what
as a
I.
variant of himself,
Yeah.
but
That's what I got.
also he who remains is the one who came up with the idea to give Victor Timely the book in the case of his demise.
Sure.
So
So wait, is he who remains not Victor Timely?
I don't think
that's
he is.
I also don't think he is. But with time travel bullshit, we don't really know. But
That's what I'm saying, because there's only one sacred timeline. So like, how is Victor Timely on the sacred timeline along with He Who Remains?
He Who Remains isn't on the timeline.
Yeah, he remains outside of time, or at the end
Yeah.
of it, or whatever.
Was he always there, I wonder?
Well, no, like he had to get there, I assume.
Well, he had to take the
Did,
spot.
Yeah, like he had to win the war and become the timekeeper.
so I guess before the war, maybe there was never any variant on the sacred timeline until he won the war.
We gotta rewatch season one finale
Yeah,
for us
yeah.
because I feel like he goes through it when he does a little claymation thing. I just don't remember what he said exactly because he mentions a human being. It sounded very Victor Timely esque.
That's what I'm saying. Like I thought he was explaining like it was Victor
Yeah,
Timely.
but I just don't remember how. I'd have to rewatch that sequence. I'll look it up on YouTube. But if anyone out there listening knows all this stuff back and forth, hit us up. Let us know. Explain it to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because time travel bullshit is in fact time travel bullshit.
Right.
So, the first time we see the noodle dance is whenever Victor Timely goes out to the loom to try to fix it, and yeah, just
Bro, that
immediately,
caught that caught me way off guard. He walked out there
Yeah.
confident, like,
yeah,
ah.
and then yeah, died immediately, and I was like, oh
Yeah,
no, what are they gonna
yeah,
do
bro.
now?
He was all
Yeah.
like, oh shit, like,
And that's the
you
thing,
know,
like in that episode, I think that's the same episode where Renslayer gets pruned too. So in
yeah,
episode 4, yeah, that's when the show started moving.
yeah,
Because yeah, people
facts.
started dying, and it was not people that we expected to die, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, episode 4. At the end of episode 4, that's when I was like, okay. And that's also I think when Miss Minutes kills Docs and her squad. So yeah, like episode 4, a lot of people die.
Yeah, yeah. Episode 4 is when they really start getting to like season one Loki level. And then 5 and 6 ended off really well. But no, that the noodle dance part that caught me off. I was like, oh snap, Victor Timely's dead.
That's what
I
I
was
said.
like, how the hell?
I was like, what are they gonna do now?
Right,
Because
Yeah.
it's over. Like they can't do it. And
right.
then yeah, the time travel and
Shenanigans.
and the power of friendship is how Loki learns how to do it.
Facts.
So
Facts.
yeah, all of the people he finds them, and luckily OB is still like able to help, even though he
Right.
has no idea what's going
How
on.
Bro,
convenient. Yeah.
the bestseller joint, bro, when he was in the library and he just put his own book on the shelf, picked it up, was like, let me buy this. That was funny.
Yeah, it was like the
Yeah. He's like,
barcode's
so,
not working, and he was like, "I'll just pay cash. Don't worry about it."
there's five copies over there. He put all five
Yeah.
over there. Yeah.
Man, that's funny. The author life is tough. But
And
Yeah.
yeah, so Sylvie was ready to just keep going with life.
yeah,
Like
Sylvie was very content. I was just like, I mean, I
she
get it. I get it.
and
But
every single time Sylvie helped, it was because shit was like going to go away.
yeah.
So she was like, the only reason I'm here is because if I'm not here, then there's nothing.
Yeah, when
She
she was in
also
the
told him, "Oh, was you
go
gonna say,
ahead.
Brandon?"
No, I was just gonna say like when she was in the record shop, she was about to damn vibing out and the whole place got you know what I'm saying, cut through.
Yeah.
That's when she was like, okay, now I'll help.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I was
fine.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, she used
I
her
would
little watch.
say,
And I guess that's how she ended up back in
with the
McDonald's, because
TVA
she
people.
had a watch. So
Yeah, she did.
she could just go wherever she wanted. But, also, how did the explosion affect her? Or did she dip out before it exploded?
Also,
Yeah.
when Loki like basically pulled back up on her, it was like when we talked about like he was going to kill her. She was like, I'm not just gonna let you kill me. She said, I'm not just gonna if you're wanting me to say here's my blessings for killing me, I'm not gonna do it.
Right, yeah,
I was like, yeah, I don't know why she would be happy. But like, yeah, kill me. That's what we want to do. Like,
right.
Well,
she's
but
like,
again,
no.
I'm sure that Loki was like, this is a logical person. Surely if I explain the situation to her, she'll understand why I have to kill her.
She's like,
But
I don't care.
that's the thing. She knew. She was like, I know how determined I was, and so I know that I said to you, "You gonna have to kill me."
Right,
Like I know
Yeah.
for a fact that's what I told you.
yeah,
So, yeah, I'm not gonna give you my blessing to do it, but also, yeah, I see the predicament that you are in because
right,
I thought it was interesting the point at which he decided to have a conversation with Mobius
Oh, that was good.
because he
that was
did
good.
it. Yeah, like he chose when they first met, and I thought that was an interesting point to choose
Hmm.
to, like, I guess, get advice from Mobius.
Because that was a Mobius who was still thinking about everything else, not really friends with anybody else. So it's like that was probably the first opportunity. A
Yeah,
Yeah,
fresh slate
yeah,
Mobius.
that was the most objective Mobius, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had a conversation about the bigger picture, and so that made sense. And then yeah,
that was
he went to Sylvie essentially like the moment before she disappeared.
right. No, that Mobius conversation almost got me, bro. Just because it was just like, oh, okay, you was like, okay, I'm about to make this big decision. I gotta run this by my guy. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And my guy that's isn't aware of our experiences, isn't aware of how close we've gotten. Like he's
Yeah.
just giving me a straight up, answer. And I was like, damn, that's
yeah,
good
like
stuff.
the objective, unbiased version of Mobius. I thought that making that decision was like interesting. Like that was
Right.
interesting to me.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's the only time Loki slipped pre He Who Remains, uh, reaching He Who Remains.
I think that's correct. I think.
So I guess that's the earliest he slips to. And, you know, maybe this is a not a great
Yeah. I think
question,
so.
but like I kind of wonder how he was able to prune himself when every well, I guess that wasn't a time slip situation because how when he was time slipping, he was going back into his own body. So he wasn't time slipping and then there were two of him. He would time
Right.
slip back into himself at that point.
Yeah.
So how were there two of him when he pruned himself? But I guess that's because he needed to prune himself. But I
Yeah.
also don't.
This is that time travel mumbo jumbo.
It made more sense watching it. Now I have to explaining it. I can't remember.
It's like once you got to actually dissect it and say it out loud, you're like, yeah, let me just not let me just stop talking.
Yeah.
But
Uh, do we think that Loki addresses the celestial that's just in the
Here we
ocean?
go. Here we go with that one. He definitely does not, because Marvel has definitely forgotten about the giant celestial that's hanging out the side of Earth.
Because
man,
yeah, Loki.
I trust Feige, man. He's smart enough to know. All right, we're gonna address this. It's just we got to get it right.
I
They
mean,
just,
he's not going to address it next year because I think the only movie slated to come out next year is Deadpool. So it'll be
I did.
2025.
Ooh, that's a good segue. I did hear that Mobius and Miss Minutes are gonna be in Deadpool 3. Don't know why. Random as hell, but I heard they're gonna be in.
I can see Miss Minutes popping up. Mobius would be random for me.
Mobius would be hilarious. Think of a Mobius going
Well,
back and forth with Deadpool.
the fact that Deadpool has a time travel watch or
Component.
whatever.
Yeah, you could definitely
Uh,
see old Mobius showing up. Like, all right, there's a hell of a variance here. What the fuck? Like, all right, let's rattle. Let's get rid of some of these. So,
and I did issue a spoiler warning for everything that exists in this universe. So we can talk about Miss Marvel.
True.
And in Miss Marvel,
The Marvels.
That's what I said. We see we see where Monica ends up, and I'm wondering if that's where Deadpool is.
Mm,
Could be. And I mean, they have said that the Deadpool movie is him going through. Well, I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but a lot of the big rumor is that he's going through and killing off a bunch of different timeline, X-Men characters, the Sony universe, basically.
yeah.
That makes sense because Deadpool has a comic book where he kills everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in the end of Deadpool 2, we see that he, you know, shoots himself reading the Green Lantern script. Like we see that fourth wall doesn't matter.
Right. Especially Deadpool. Yeah. They can do all the timey-wimey shit they want in
Yeah.
Deadpool, and no one cares. They're
Yeah,
just gonna have a good time.
Deadpool's gonna do what he wants. And
Yeah.
so yeah, like we don't I wonder, is this going to be a sequel to the Fox Deadpool, or is this going to be, I wonder what they're going to do.
It's going to be hilarious if Deadpool addresses the giant
Bro,
celestial.
I honestly
he can't
believe,
not do it. Like,
yeah, if there's a movie to do it, he shows up in this particular world and is like, what the hell? Like, we just got,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? So
What is
if there's
this?
a
Why
time
is
to
it
do
just
it,
sitting here? Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. That's perfect. They can leave it there. Let's just address it, make fun of it,
yeah.
and then address it later on down the line
If
with
we
whatever
address
you
it
want to do.
correctly, yeah, I agree.
I will
I
say,
agree.
I do want to see Deadpool interact with She-Hulk.
Yeah, I
Oh
want
man,
to.
that's gonna be like
Yeah.
when dudes will be like into real big women. That's gonna
Oh,
be
bro, he about to
Deadpool.
be, bro. He be like, "Can you turn into the green lady again?" Like, I want to holler at her.
Yeah,
Like,
little horn
yeah,
dog.
yeah, he get horny about the weirdest shit. So, um, so do you guys think? I mean, I think I know the answer, but do we think season two is better than season one, or season one better than season two?
From what I
I'm
remember, oh, go ahead.
go no, you good. Go ahead.
From what I remember, season one is better than season two, or I, would give season one a higher rating than I'd give season two.
Same. I feel the same.
Okay, yeah,
What you think?
I agree. I think season one just had it just captured you in a different vibe. It was like a different MCU than we'd ever seen before. It was TVA was fire. Just learning more about that was amazing. This one had to set up a little bit more, whereas the other one, you know, we were cool with just whatever characters we got. And like you said, Spencer, like the dialogue when they did it in this show in this particular season was amazing. Per usual, the writing was great. It was just in the last season, it was just a lot more like I'm in a room, I'm talking to somebody, and they do that for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? And so I think it's better for sure. Season one is better, but season two, I was worried that it wasn't going to live up to any hype, but it did a very good job.
I had similar concerns just because it wasn't looking good after the first episode, and we have seen the MCU's track record post Endgame,
Right? Exactly.
and it is spotty.
Yeah.
So I mean, not only post Endgame, but especially with shows.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So yeah, like
The,
recent shows, and yeah,
the good thing with Loki is like they put the budget behind it because they always give Loki a movie level budget. But
yeah.
it was just like, all right, are we gonna land this plane correctly? You know?
And yeah, I will say, like, Loki is a show that got better as it went.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I think they stuck the landing.
Agreed.
agree. Little rocky start. Especially like I said, 6 episodes, little rocky start, but at the end of the
But
day,
and that's the
they
thing.
brought it
These
back.
episodes were long. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest, when I was seeing the run times for these episodes, I was like, God damn it. I gotta sit here for 48. I gotta sit for 57 minutes. Like, yeah, I thought it was gonna be a chore, but I ended up being happy with it.
Yeah.
So now, after talking about the entire show in the entirety, what do you guys want to rank it now? What do you guys want to give it a grade? Brandon, we'll start with you.
I ain't gonna lie. I kind of want to give it more just because the characters were dope, and I'm thinking of like certain interactions, like you talked about with Loki going back and talking to Mobius that last time and shaking his hand. That almost got me, but I'm gonna keep it at an 8. I think it's a solid B, 8.5. I wouldn't be mad at 8.5 either, but I'm gonna keep it at an 8.
Spencer?
I could go 8.5. I think I think I'm good with 8 though. Like I could go 8.5, but I'll call it an 8.
Yep. Well, I guess it is unanimous because I am also going 8. And only reason I'm not going higher is because the first 2 episodes, especially the first episode, it didn't do anything to push the story forward for a 6 episode season. And like just for that reason alone, episode 1, I'm going to keep it at an 8.
Huh?
But wouldn't be mad at 8.5 either. So
I like it.
okay, is that it? Any other comments?
Do TV shows have no, we don't do that for TV shows. Never mind.
Nah,
I
yeah,
was
we
gonna
don't do it
ask
for
that.
TV
Yeah,
shows.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
I'm pretty sure this has a high ratings either way.
I'm assuming in the 80s, but I don't think it made it to the 90s. Especially if people feel the same way we do, then I'm thinking low mid 80s. But season 1 was something different. And this
Yeah,
could be a situation where because season 1 was new, we hadn't done this yet.
right.
It was still an expectation issue. Like
Yeah,
people needed to be blown away or nothing.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I agree with that.
but
And I
um
mean,
oh, yes, I do have something else. Mobius specifically mentions finding a Kang in a 616 adjacent place.
Oh, I forgot about that. The Quantumanium reference.
Yeah, that was a Quantumania
Yeah.
reference because he said he
Also, still
mm,
found a
annoyed.
variant in, and I
He's like
was,
they seem like they handled it.
yeah, because whenever he said uh adjacent, I was like, what does that mean?
hmm
Because my first thought was like a 6-1, because I thought it was like a universe where there are Fantastic Four and X-Men or something. But then I thought about it and I was like, no, because that would be parallel and that would have a different name. So adjacent has to mean existing kind of within 616. And so I eventually like got to, oh, it's a Quantumania reference. But at first, I was thinking really hard about, oh, that could be, you know, a step in the direction of uh getting
Something
Fantastic
promising.
Four, like yeah, something else.
right.
Yeah.
I
But
missed
I
that.
mean,
They
yeah,
said it, but I didn't connect it to
it was quick too.
Quantumania.
I also, but the nerd in me is also pretty mad every time they reference the MCU as the six one
as six one
six.
six, because it's not.
Yeah, that annoys. Yeah, that annoys me. But
Yeah.
yeah, it
Um,
was a little Quantumanium shout out right there.
yeah,
Okay.
but I will say it took me a minute to get there because initially I went in, I was going all over the place, and I was like,
right.
oh wait, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
If y'all didn't know that, or if y'all didn't catch that, that's the situation. Is they are Mobius refers to them handling the Quantum Mania Kang.
Yep.
Nice.
So
Well, if people enjoyed the show as much as we did, or maybe they didn't enjoy the show, you can definitely let us know. And I told you earlier where we're at on all social platforms. Um, Facebook group, that's the biggest one. Find us in there, hit us up. Let us know your thoughts on Loki. From what I understand, it's got a lot of positive feedback from a lot of people that I know. But I'd love to hear from the other people. So, all
For
right,
sure.
fellas. We're never duplicated.
Always appreciate it.
and forever melanated.